If you're watching this at midnight because you can't sleep and you just realized you have no idea what happens next, you're in the right place. You don't need to have your life figured out to watch this video. You just need 10 minutes and a laptop. Divorce Smarter with Claude, Episode 1. Start here. This channel teaches you how to use Claude, an AI system, to get through the practical side of divorce. The paperwork, the documents, the emails you don't know how to write, the questions you're afraid to ask your lawyer because every call costs money. Not the feelings side. Not because your feelings don't matter, because that's not what this tool is for, and we're not going to pretend otherwise. This is the side nobody warns you about. The 500 pages, the spreadsheets, the forms that use words you've never seen before. That's what we're here for. Maybe you just found out. Maybe you've known for months and you're finally ready to deal with it. Maybe you're already deep into it and drowning in documents nobody explained. Wherever you are, there's an episode for that. This one's for the very beginning, before you've filed anything, before you've told anyone, before you know what you're dealing with. And if you're further along than that, further into disclosure, already fighting about a parenting schedule, already dreading a mediation date, that's fine too. This series is built so you can drop in wherever your week actually is. Nobody expects you to have watched from episode 1 before you're allowed to ask a question. Claude reads. That's the short version. It reads the 600-page disclosure bundle your lawyer sent and tells you what's actually in it. It reads the court order full of terms you've never heard and explains what they mean in plain language. It reads 5 years of bank statements and shows you the pattern you were too tired to find yourself. It also writes. The email to your ex that you've rewritten 9 times and still sounds too angry or too weak. The question list for your next lawyer meeting so you stop paying $400 an hour to ask things you could have prepared for. Reading and writing. That's most of what a divorce actually is, underneath all the emotion. Claude is good at both. Here's what that looks like in practice. Say your lawyer emails you a financial disclosure with a sentence full of terms you've never had to know before. Retirement accounts treated one way, property treated another, exceptions buried in a subclause. You could sit with that sentence for 20 minutes, or you could paste it in and ask what it actually means for your settlement, in your own words, before you spend a phone call finding out. Or say you've written the same email to your ex 4 times, and every version sounds either furious or apologetic. You paste in your draft and ask Claude to help you say the same thing in a way that's calm, clear, and gives nobody ammunition to use against you later. That's a 5-minute task instead of a 2-hour spiral. One more example, because this is the one people underestimate. Say you've been handed a spreadsheet of transactions going back 3 years, and told to identify anything unusual before your next disclosure deadline. Doing that by eye, at midnight, after a full day of work and school pickup, is close to impossible. Paste it in, ask Claude to group the spending by category, flag anything irregular or out of pattern, and hand you a summary you can actually read in 5 minutes instead of 3 hours. You still make the judgment call on what matters. You just stop starting from zero. Say this out loud if you need to. Claude is not your lawyer. It can't tell you what you're legally entitled to in your specific case. It doesn't know your jurisdiction's rules, your judge's tendencies, or the 10 things your lawyer knows about your ex from sitting across a table. It has never seen a courtroom. What it can do is get you ready. Understand your documents before your lawyer call, so the call is about strategy instead of definitions. Ask better questions. Waste less expensive time. That's the entire trade. Divorce is one of the most document-heavy things most people will ever go through, and it usually happens at the exact moment you have the least capacity to deal with paperwork. You're not bad at this because you're overwhelmed by it. Everyone is. The system was never built for a person doing this alone at 11 at night with a kid asleep down the hall. Most people go through this exactly once, maybe twice in a lifetime. There's no practice run. You're learning a legal process, a financial process, and often a parenting negotiation, all at the same time. usually while still going to work and still getting the kids to school on time. Nobody hands you a manual. Lawyers explain things once in language built for other lawyers and then send an invoice. This is where the tool earns its place, not as a replacement for anything, as the thing that sits with you at 11 at night and actually helps, for free or close to it, as many times as you need to ask the same question a different way until it finally makes sense. Here's the one prompt to start with, before anything else in this series. Open Claude and paste this, adjusting it to what you actually have in front of you. I'm going through a divorce, and I have a document I don't understand. I'm going to paste it below. Explain it to me in plain language, section by section. Tell me what's routine, what's unusual, and what questions I should ask my lawyer about it. Don't give me legal advice. Just help me understand what I'm looking at. Then paste the document. That's it. That one prompt turns a wall of legal text into something you can actually read before your next appointment. What comes back usually looks something like this: a short summary of what the document is, a section-by-section breakdown in plain language, a flag on anything that looks unusual or worth double-checking, and a short list of questions worth raising with your lawyer. You're not getting legal advice back. You're getting a map of what you're looking at, so the conversation with your actual lawyer starts from understanding instead of confusion. One more thing before we move on. You're allowed to ask the same question 5 different ways until it lands. You're allowed to say, "I still don't get it. Explain it like I'm exhausted, because I am." Claude doesn't get impatient, doesn't watch the clock, and doesn't make you feel like the question was obvious. Ask it as many times as you need to. Before you upload anything, know what you're uploading. Court documents, financial disclosures, and parenting orders often contain your children's full names and dates of birth, addresses, account numbers, and other people's financial details, not just your own. A simple habit that solves most of it: before you paste something in, do a quick pass and swap full names for initials and drop anything that isn't relevant to the question you're actually asking. If you're only trying to understand a clause about property division, you don't need the page with the children's school enrollment details attached. This isn't about being afraid of the tool. It's the same instinct you'd already use before emailing a sensitive document to the wrong address. A few seconds of care up front. There's a full episode later in this series that walks through this properly, document by document. For today, just know it's worth thinking about before you paste, not after. This series runs in order for a reason. Episode 2 covers the one thing to do before you tell your spouse anything. Episode 3 is document organization, start to finish in one afternoon. After that, the series splits into 5 tracks you can move between, depending on what your week actually looks like. Understand, in blue, is for the moments you're staring at a document or an order and need it translated into plain English. Organize, in gold, is for turning chaos into something you can find again: bank statements, evidence, timelines. Write, in orange, is every email and letter you don't know how to phrase. Prepare, in purple, is for the meetings that matter: your lawyer, mediation, court. And Claude Skills, in green, is where we go deeper on the tool itself, so you're not starting from zero every time. You don't need to watch in order after this one. Come back to whichever color matches whatever's in front of you this week. If you've already got a stack of documents you don't understand sitting in front of you right now, skip ahead. Links in the description. Come back for the rest when you're ready. You didn't choose this, but you don't have to figure it out with nothing but a search bar and panic. Understand your documents. Organize your case. Write what needs writing. Prepare for what's ahead. That's the whole series, one piece at a time, one step at a time. See you in the next one.